Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants Hangout. My name's Joe Grabowski, and for those who don't know, we're all about science, adventure, and conservation here, and bringing it into classrooms around North America. I couldn't be more excited to be welcoming Sarah Outen today. Sarah, do you want to say hi to our classrooms joining us?
Hello, everybody. We got New Jersey and Thunder Bay today, and I'm calling in from the UK, so we're quite an eclectic mix.
That's phenomenal. So, very excited to be connecting with Sarah. Sarah has just finished an epic 4.5-year journey circumnavigating our planet by human power. And so she started in London, and through multiple means, whether it was bike, ocean, rowboat, and kayak, she made her way from London and back to London. And just a few months ago, finished her journey. And I love the pictures that I saw of you arriving back in London. It just looked like such an exciting and happy moment when you did.
It certainly was a pretty special day. You know, when you achieve something big, it feels pretty cool.
And I believe that you're also a world record holder for another row in the Indian Ocean.
That's right. In 2009, I rowed across the Indian Ocean from Australia to Mauritius. I spent 4 months at sea, and there were a few world records with that one.
All right, amazing. So in September, we connected with Sarah. Actually, it might have been late August for a satellite call while she was rowing across the Atlantic. And the transcript of that is up in the blog section of Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants if you haven't checked it out yet. But Sarah, I know you have some pretty cool things to share from your London to London journey, so I'm going to let you take over for a bit now.
Great, thank you. So, guys, what I thought I'd do is share with you a couple of my favorite stories and favorite pictures from the journey to help you bring it all to life. So I'm going to hit screen share now, and we're going to go for a little video to start with, which just brings alive the whole journey, I think. So let's do this.
Basically, we're going backwards quicker than we're going north. We've just capsized. He came over quite quickly. I'm a bit concerned as water came in, and I don't know where from. I don't know if I'm hallucinating. Now. I knew it was going to be rough, but I didn't realise it was going to be this rough. Being tired is no excuse, Outen. Come on! Really tough. It's now officially just me and Hercules. Nice.
Okay, so how was that? Did that work at your end?
Looks good on my end. Classes, give me a thumbs up if you saw it. I see lots of thumbs.
Happy days. Well, that sounds good. So what I'll do is I'll talk through some photos from the rest of the journey. Now that you've got a bit of an idea of how I was traveling and some of the ways that I was traveling, etc., and share with you a couple of things. Let's see here. This is the first time I've done it today. This feels like an adventure, having a Google Hangout. So I really enjoyed adventures from when I was a kid. I was always out and about, exploring by the seat of my pants, and my favorite journeys seemed to be on the water. I started learning to kayak when I was about 12, and gradually my journeys got a bit bigger and a bit bigger. Now, Mr. Grabowski mentioned my row across the Indian Ocean in 2009. That was really the journey which inspired this really, really big one all the way around the world. I was thinking I loved being out on the ocean. I wanted to explore the ocean some more, and I wanted to travel across land so I could meet people. And I really wanted to do it in a human-powered way. I wanted to travel really slowly so that I could meet people, I could see everything around me, really feel the landscape, and that wildlife wouldn't be afraid of me because I would travel slowly. So you can see on the screen the route that I plan to take around the world. I'd start and finish in London, and I would kayak down the River Thames across the English Channel to France, and then cycle eastwards out across Europe and Asia. I think I clocked 10 countries in that first part of the journey. I kayaked and cycled down to Japan, and then I rowed across the Pacific Ocean. It took me 2 attempts. The first time involved a mid-ocean rescue because there was a huge storm, a typhoon. And eventually, on my second attempt, when I had gone back out to the Pacific for another go in 2013, I rowed all the way up to the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. And that's where the line goes from red to yellow, out at that far side of the map just here. Then it was a kayak along the Aleutian Islands all the way up into mainland Alaska, where I could get on the first road that would allow me to start cycling east across the country, across North America and, across the US and Canada. Then we've got that final line across the Atlantic to bring me home. Now that line took about 4.5 months, and it wasn't all human powered. There was another hurricane, a big storm, that came about 2/3 of the way in, and it was going to be really dangerous to me, Hurricane Joaquin, back in October of this year, just gone. And I had to be picked up by a passing boat and was taken back to Canada. And I then flew home and completed the rest of the journey in the UK, kayaking and cycling back to London. So here's the start of the journey. Under Tower Bridge in London in my kayak, 2011, quite excited for the journey ahead, quite nervous as well, because I think that's what happens when you set out on a big journey, right? You're a little bit nervous about what could happen. So in terms of the vehicles that I was using on my journey, here's my bike Hercules, packed up with stuff for the road. I collect food and water as I travel along, have a tent so I can camp wherever I want to sleep, and I'm pretty self-sufficient. I have to be really self-sufficient in my rowing boat here. My rowing boat is 7 meters long, about 21 feet, and you can see it's quite small. That's me sitting in the middle there, rowing along. This left-hand cabin at the front of the boat, that's all for storage, and the back cabin, the back of the boat there, that's where I sleep. There's a little door, I can climb in there, there's a little bed, I can strap myself in with a kind of safety belt, and I'm pretty safe in there. And I have to take everything with me because there's not much out in the middle of the ocean. You can't just pop to the grocery store. And here's my kayak. I don't sleep in the kayak. I travel to the next island or a bit further around the coast, and that's how I journey in the kayak, stuffing everything down into the boat to be able to carry along. Now in the rowing, I am totally alone. I don't see anybody else for months at a time. It's just that big, wide, open ocean, although it doesn't always look quite so calm as that. When I'm kayaking, though, I do travel with my friend Justine. Justine is here on the left in the blue jacket, and she's really great at sea kayaking. So she's always joined me on the kayaking stretches of the journey to keep me safe, really. Now, I'm guessing because you're adventurers, you enjoy learning about different landscapes and things and climates too. I experienced a wide range of climates and landscapes and so on throughout my journey. Here's one of the most extreme in the Gobi Desert in China in 2011. And as you can tell from the picture, it's pretty hot out there. It was plus 50 degrees centigrade in the daytime. So you'll have to do the conversions on that because my Fahrenheit's not very good. And the contrast of that was one of the North American winters as I cycled across on the bike. And I'm guessing you guys won't be surprised to know that the temperatures got pretty cold out there. Coming across the Midwest, temperatures dropped down to kind of 30, 40 below. And certainly for me from the UK, that was pretty crazy cold. We just don't get winters like that at home. Now, out at sea in the rowing boat, the big danger is the storms. If it's not such a bad storm, I just strap myself in, I close the doors, and the boat will keep me safe. The boat will self-right if it capsizes. It's just when you get those big monsters that you have to get off the ocean. This is the tropical storm, the typhoon, which happened on the ocean when I was out in the Pacific in 2012. I had to get rescued after that one came through because it was just too big. It damaged my boat so badly. Now, as well as enjoying the contrasts in landscapes and climates, I love the different people that I met on my journey, the different ways of doing things, learning about different lives, different ways of thinking, communicating in different ways, and also remembering that you don't always have the same common verbal language, but there's always that shared language of just being human. People were super kind to me on my journey. Strangers who I might have met only for a moment, a few seconds, a few minutes, an evening, just really kind at welcoming me in and helping me make my journey happen. Now, obviously, this is a quick skip through some of the different features of the journey, and I know that everybody loves a good animal photo. So I'll share with you some of my favorite shots now. Here's one of the big tuna that followed me across the ocean. For weeks at a time, different groups of fish would follow my boat, and I always thought that was pretty cool. In the same way that I thought it was pretty cool to sit on a beach in Alaska watching these grizzly bears play fight one morning. That felt pretty special. Sometimes, of course, it feels like you are the one being watched as well. So here we've got a big sea lion trying to tell me to stay off his beach. I was quite happy to do that because I found that the sea lions, well, they're pretty stinky. I always found the sunfish really curious. This sunfish is probably about 8 feet long and about 6 feet from the top fin to the bottom fin. Just a huge fish, gently playing around my boat, as curious as I was about him. I always thought that's really interesting. You're both watching each other. I think this one is my favorite photo. It's the sea turtle out on the Atlantic last year, coming in to check out my camera, which I put under the water. Now, of course, that's cool, but it's also kind of worrying too, because the camera is enclosed in a plastic casing, and it just shows how easily turtles especially, but other sea life too, will go for things that look like stuff they might normally eat. And of course, we don't want to be filling the stomachs of all these animals with lots of plastic. And there is a whole lot of trash out there, a lot of it plastic. I've got another favorite picture here of one of the Dorados, perhaps one of the most beautiful animals that I saw on my journey. This one's a bright green one, but they also come in bright blues and everything in between, that kind of mix. And when they jump out of the water, they actually turn all silvery. Just a stunning fish to watch. Now, there's a story, which is my favorite story from the whole journey. And if you want to talk about exploring by the seat of your pants, I think this story kind of sums it up. So I'm in the left in the red hat, and the guy on the right is a guy called Gao. I met him in a petrol station just a little bit before that picture was taken. Gao came into the petrol station, the gas station, and he said, "Hey, is that your bicycle outside?" I was in China at the time. I said, "Yeah, that's my bicycle. It's Hercules." And this guy told me his name was Gao, and he was like, "Whoa, that's really cool. Where are you going on your bicycle?" I said, "London." And he was pretty excited about that. He said, "Wow, that is really cool. And where have you come from on your bicycle?" I said, "Oh, London." He went, "Whoa, you haven't." "Oh, yes, I have." "Wow, that is cool," he said. He said he would like to make a bicycle journey one day too, but he didn't know how. I said, "Buddy, it's okay. It's just riding a bike." And so off we went. He went one way down the road, I went the other. But as you can see from the picture, he followed me. Gao had followed me down the road. And here he is, asking me if he can come with me on a bicycle right the way across the country to Beijing. I was a bit surprised, but I thought, well, wouldn't that be a cool way for Gao to learn about having a bicycle adventure? And so I said, "Sure thing, buddy. Let's meet in a couple of days' time." And he said, "All right, I'll go and buy a bike." And again, I just thought that's really cool. He's asking to come with me, and he doesn't even yet have his own bicycle. So I wrote him a shopping list of things that he might need for the road, and off he went. We agreed to meet in 2 days' time. So here he is, 2 days later. It's a pretty cool contrast, isn't it? He's shaved his hair, he's got himself an outfit, he's got a bike, he's borrowed some bits and pieces, he's bought some things, he's packed his bags, he's ready to go. And I said, "Gao, how are you feeling?" And he said, "Oh, I'm so nervous, I can't eat my lunch." I said, "Buddy, that's okay, let's go." And so off we went. We went off into the Gobi Desert where it was super crazy hot, plus 50 degrees centigrade in the day. You can see here on the picture, Gao is falling off his bike because the surface is so poor, it's so soft, it's sandy. It was really difficult. Our bikes often fell apart, things broke, but it was really great because we did it as a team. I learned things from Gao, he learned things from me. We helped each other, we high-fived, we made each other laugh. It was great fun. And most of all, it was really cool to see Gao grow into the adventure. He was too scared of it before. He didn't think he could make it, but of course he could. Everybody can if they put their mind to it. And so that's my favorite story from the journey, is the story of Gao. It took us 35 days to cycle about 2,500 miles across the country, most of it across the Gobi Desert. And when we got to the end, I said to Gao, "How does it feel? Could you describe it in 3 words?" And he said, "I am happiness." And I said, "Wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. What's your advice? What's your advice to the kids when I get back home?" And he said, "If you want to do something, just do it. Don't worry about anything. Just do it." And I think that's such a cool message for us all to remember. Whatever challenge it is that we want to do, whatever bit of exploring, is it something big? Is it something small? Whatever it is, you've just got to get on and have a go, because life won't wait for you and nobody else is going to do it for you. So that's just my favorite story and a couple of the pictures from the journey. Here's a picture from the very end of the journey, as Mr. Grabowski told you about, coming under Tower Bridge in London back in November when I rounded off the journey. That was a pretty special day for sure. It had taken a long time to get home, nearly 2 years longer than we thought it would, and a few times we hadn't quite known if it was going to work out or not. And so it was a massive team event to make that happen. And that felt really pretty special. So I think, let's see here, I'm going to come back to this here. I should now, here we go. I'm back in the screen. Hopefully that worked for you guys. You saw the video and the pictures there from my journey. hopefully it's given you a bit of a flavour of things so that we can get some questions going. You can ask whatever you like. Thank you.
All right, they clearly enjoyed it, and I mean, I love seeing those pictures. Being a diver, I'm a little partial to the underwater ones you took. I like those a lot. But I'm so glad you shared Gao's story. If you hadn't, I was going to ask you about it right after you finished, because when we had our satellite conversation, you shared that story. It just stuck with me. It was such an awesome story. I love that story. So thank you for sharing it with the students today.
That's cool. Thank you. I could show you a little film of Gao if you like. I made a little film when we finished cycling together. I could share that with you or send you the link after, whichever way you like.
Okay. Well, why don't we do a few questions? Maybe we can wrap up with that little film, if you do have it on hand.
That sounds like a plan. Let's do it. All
right. So we have 2 classrooms joining us today. We actually do have one more from New Jersey who's just kind of watching along. But the 2 classes joining us today, we've got Mr. Greenfield's grade 5s. They're in Freehold, New Jersey. And we have Mr. Cameron's grade 5-6 class from Thunder Bay in Canada, in the province of Ontario. So why don't we get started with Mr. Cameron's class? Your microphone is on.
Yeah. Let's start, Melissa.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and I'm wondering what inspired you to do the adventure?
Hi, Melissa. That's a good question. So I've always been inspired just by being outside. I love watching wildlife. I love challenging myself. And my adventures seem to have got a little bit bigger and a little bit more challenging over the years. In 2009, I rowed across the Indian Ocean, so in a rowing boat, and that journey inspired this journey. I wanted to spend more time at sea, and I really wanted to go across land, across countries, and meet people, because there wasn't really that many people out at sea. So that's what inspired me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa.
Questions? Okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Dylan, and my question is, how do you manage to do what you do, and have you ever got homesick?
Good one. Hello there. So how do I manage to do what I do? Well, I think for this big journey that I made, it was important to make a really good plan and to have a good team of people who could help me make the plan work, because there was a lot of work to do. And then I think the really important thing is that you have this plan, but you need to be ready to be a bit flexible, because stuff happens, right? You get hurricanes, you get sick, you have to be ready to make a new plan. So I think how I did it was having a plan, but being flexible and creative about making new plans, and also being really determined, never giving up. So the other question that you had was, do you ever get homesick? Sure, I do, sometimes. I mean, it's great that we have things like Skype and Google Hangouts and so on, so we can keep in touch. But from time to time, yeah, I just wanted to be back home and miss my people back home. But, you know, that passes. And it's good to know they're still thinking of you and you're still thinking of them. So I coped.
Thank you.
Okay. Brayden.
I haven't wrote anything down, but I have.
Got it in your head?
Hi, my name is Brayden, and my question is, why did you decide to challenge yourself to go through London and come back to London?
Thanks, Bryn. So the reason for my journey, I wanted to explore the world. I really wanted to see the ocean. I really wanted to see land. And I wanted to start in London and finish back in London, because I'm from the UK, so it'd be nice in a sort of a close place for my friends and family to be able to come along and join in too, and to support me. So that's why I wanted to start and finish there.
Okay, we'll pop back to Mr. Cameron's class, but let's give our class in New Jersey, our grade 5s, a chance to ask some questions.
Hi, my name is Ella, and what was the most fascinating thing you saw on your trip?
Oh, hi, good to meet you. So the most fascinating thing I saw on my trip. Well, I'm pretty fascinated by most of the world. I think that's the really cool thing when you're out exploring, is that you're meeting so many different ideas, different places, different people, etc. I was really fascinated by the weather out on the ocean, especially. And because I was right there in the middle of it, right in the middle of the ocean, it meant that I really got to understand quite a bit more about how the weather happens, how storms build, and how different air pressures move across the surface of the Earth. So I found the weather pretty fascinating, and it still feels like I have way more to learn about it too.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Justin. How does it feel to know you broke a Guinness World Record, and do you have any plans to break another record?
Hi, Justin. So I think records, they're kind of cool, but for me, they're not the most important thing. For me, the most important thing is the memories, the experiences, the things that I learn, the stuff that I see, and the people that I meet. So I don't have any plans to try and break any more records. I have plans for more journeys so that I can experience more, learn more, etc. So yeah, I think, those things are cool, but they're not the coolest thing. Not for me anyway.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Chris. I was wondering, how do you train for your journeys?
Hi, Chris. That's a good question. I think training happens in a few different ways for these journeys. I think some of it is physical. You need to make sure you're fit and strong and healthy, with your muscles and so on. You need to make sure you know how to use your equipment, because that would be pretty bad if you didn't and it suddenly broke in the middle of somewhere with nobody else around. And the other really important bit of training, I think, is about the training up here. It's about the mental training, thinking about ways that you're going to be challenged, thinking about ways that you can cope with those challenges. And that kind of planning, I think, is really important. Reminding yourself that sometimes it's going to be really tough and you're just going to have to grit your teeth and get on with it. So I think it's a mixture of the physical, the mental, and then the logistical, I'd call it. And logistical just means like the bits and bobs, how stuff works. So I think there's all those elements of training.
All right, we got great questions coming in from these guys. They're smart characters today. Good. Let's visit each classroom, if you're up for it, Sarah, one more time and maybe snag one or two more questions from them.
This sounds good. Let's do it.
All right, back in Thunder Bay.
We're on our way. Second last day before the March break here, so we thank you very much, Sarah. We love learning through adventure, and a few of the different things that you said during your presentation really resonated with my kids, so I'm going to be tweeting them out as well.
Great. Good stuff. And how exciting that you've got the break coming up soon too.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, my name is Charles, and why did you name your boat Happy Socks?
Hey Charles, so Happy Socks. Well, I love the name because it makes people smile. And the boat is secondhand to me. The first person who owned the boat called the boat Socks. And back over here, that's from a phrase where you say, pull your socks up. It means just come on, get on with it. And I thought, now that's a rubbish name because some people call their horses or their guinea pigs socks. I don't want to call my boat Socks. But my mom, she knits, like she makes multicolored socks that make me really happy. And we call them Happy Socks. So I thought, well, let's keep a little bit of the boat's original name, but make it my own, remind me of my mom. And so that's why I call the boat Happy Socks.
Thank you.
No worries.
One more from...
Can I have your attention, please? Dodgeball is postponed until tomorrow because the hockey team is away. Sharks will play Raptors tomorrow at second break, 1:05.
Always announcements in a school.
And lunch will be in the classroom tomorrow. Thank you.
That's really cool.
Okay, so I think we have a question within there. I think it's number 2. Do you want to see if you can read it, Sarah?
Okay, let's see. 2. Have you ever wanted to give up on your London to London journey? Good question. Well, I haven't wanted to give up on it. I've always wanted to find ways to carry on, to make it work, because I think you only give up on something if you've stopped believing in it, or you think this really is the end and I don't want to carry on. But I've always wanted to. There are definitely plenty of times where I've thought, I want this really bad bit to end. So those storms out on the ocean, for example, I've wanted those bits to finish, and I've been very glad when they have. But you know what? I think often we can back out of things too early. I think you've just got to stay the course. You've got to back yourself, believe that it's going to be okay, and that you can keep on punching through. So I'd always say be really careful about giving up on stuff. You don't ever want to regret it.
Okay, another question.
Awesome, Sarah. That's such good advice. Thank you so much. Mr. Greenfield's class. Do you have a couple more?
Hi, my name is Elizabeth. Have you ever been in touch with Gal after your bicycle journey with him?
Hi, Elizabeth. So I did stay in touch with Gao for about 2 years, and then he just went off the radar, you know, and someone just disappears and you can't get a hold of them. So I'm hoping that he's off having some bicycle journeys somewhere. I'm confident I'll get hold of him sometime because I just feel like he's that kind of guy. I imagine that whatever he's doing, he's going to be happy and he's doing it well and he's doing good stuff for other people. That's what I like to think.
Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Hi, my name is Daniela. And what is it about your bike that, like, you named it Hercules?
Aha, hi there. So, have you heard of the Greek legend of Heracles?
No. Oh, yeah.
You have? Okay, so you know that legend, and he was a really strong guy. And when I was choosing the names for my journey, my vehicles for my journey, I was thinking about the bike, and I thought, well, I want a strong bike. I want someone who's going to protect me. And so I thought of the name Hercules, and I really liked it. And it does remind me of something very strong and powerful. And, well, he's looked after me pretty well so far.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I just had a phone call on my end. But I'd love, Sarah, if you were up for it, if you want to share that little video you'd pulled together.
Yeah, let's do it. So
a fun way to conclude, I think.
I think so. So it's just a little video of my time with Gao. And I'll just play it for you now.
This is a moment I thought would never happen. We've just landed in Beijing. Really sad it's the end of the Gao era. I think we're going to have BG-AG before Gao, after Gao. Great effort from him today, 198 kilometers.
Driving through Urumqi, and I saw you. And my brother said to me is, if you dare to come with her and drive to Beijing, I give you the money. Yeah, I said, why not? Just do it. Crazy. Hard, but when you finish this travel, you think your past is not very hard enough. It's a kind of the happiness. So 1 month, I'm just past soon. Okay. Ginger, like your friend, the first day you just knew it, you should learn to it, you should know it, and you should let him know you. That is the first day I gave his name to Ginger. I learned how to fix the problems. So now, we got an older friend. It's not good, really. It's not the best, but he's good. Yeah, of course, but not blood mine. I just think that fly to Beijing. If you want to do something, just do it. Don't worry about anything, just do it. It's a real one. I am happiness. Happiness. I can't use this word, happiness.
So there we go. That is the story of Gao.
Awesome. Well, Sarah, thanks so much for sharing that. Such a neat video. And your whole experience, start to finish, is amazing. Inspirational story. And I'm so glad you have the pictures and the videos and the memories to go along with it, and that you're sharing them with students. That's so important. It's awesome.
Well, right back at you, Mr. Grabowski. I think it's cool that you are bringing students and different explorers together to explore together. So thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to turn the mics on so the classrooms can say goodbye and thank you, and we'll let you continue on. It looks probably getting around close to dinner time for you, maybe 4 o'clock-ish?
On its way. That's it. Yeah.
All right. So I'll turn the mics on, and the class can say goodbye, and we'll sign off for today.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Mics are on, guys. You want to say thanks to Sarah?
Goodbye, everybody. Good to meet you all. Happy exploring.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We're signing off for today.